This, of course, is game number 2 of a best of 5. It is the finals of the ESL Pro Series Summer. 2 Germans remain. They beat Golden and Patience, 2 of the Koreans, in the semi-finals to get here. They are the foreign hope. Who is going to be able to take this, though? Down in the south, we've got the red Protoss player. It is ShoWTimE. And his opponent, to the top right, the teal Terran, representing Mousesports. It is HeroMarine. HeroMarine is 1-0 up currently in this best of 5. If he wins this game, he would be putting ShoWTimE in an incredibly tough position. ShoWTimE was able to beat Golden in the semi-final 3-2 in a nail-biting ace game finale. Meanwhile, HeroMarine went through his semi-final up against Patience with a bit more ease. At least that's what the scoreline said. It was a 3-0. So HeroMarine is definitely the favorite as this game, or this series has started, just by his semi-final performance. So it'll be interesting to see what these two get on to soon. Looks like we're going to be getting a CC first, coming down from HeroMarine. A bold play. He is a game up, remember, so he can definitely take risks. It's going to get scouted, though. Already a probe coming on up. Going to just sneak on by. Does see the CC. That in itself is already some important information. Knows that it was a very greedy opening. And greedy openings tell a lot. Little probe getting in a bit of a fight. Not going to be able to delay that CC at all. Meanwhile, back at home, ShoWTimE did go for a gate into a gas. But note that he's completely stopped gas production. He wants to try and get down his natural. He needs to be trying to keep up economically, because otherwise the muling will just become too much to deal with. SCV coming down to scout now. Do you see the double barracks coming down behind this? This is a different opening to game 1, remember. In game number 1 on King Sejong Station, we saw HeroMarine open with the Reaper. This game completely different. ShoWTimE is just chilling down here, adding in his natural. Everything going right the way he'd want it to. He's probably not ideally happy with his opening, the fact that he went down for that assimilator, but he responded to it quickly and got that scout down nice and early. So he hasn't fallen too far behind in that. He just had to alter his potential plan overall. Probe coming up now. Just gonna get some gas coming in. 6 probes in gas. Of course, HeroMarine, he is going to take a small little lead in terms of income once those mules start coming down from both the orbital commands. That's going to be incredibly important once that does start getting there, because those mules are going to really bring up a lot more of the income overall. Natural base for ShoWTimE isn't yet done, so again, this is buying a little bit of time for HeroMarine to level out that work account, even with the chrono boosts. The fact that he's producing 2 SCVs at a time, got a couple of production cycles out there, has allowed him to be only 3 behind, which of course, you're then sitting there with the mules, and that's going to make you a lot more happy. Robotic facility, that's on its way down now from ShoWTimE, so he is again playing this very greedy. Not quite as greedy as game number 1 though, and the reason for that is while this robo is really early on, there wasn't a Stargate first. It wasn't a 1 gate into a Stargate, into a robo, into a robotics bay, into 2 additional gates. He's playing it a lot safer. HeroMarine, on the other hand, he's playing it a heck of a lot more greedy. He's adding in that 3rd command center already. This is really early. It's off the back of having only 2 barracks worth of production. That gave him enough to be able to produce the 6 Marines required in order to deal with an Oracle should it be coming in. And that is something that we did see in game number 1. So just playing it on the safe side, making sure nothing too crazy would happen. And that, of course, all going to be very, very good. Still keeping a good little check as the back and forth have that mothership core ready to ready to photon overcharge anything that may need it, should there be any poking and prodding. But at this stage, up against such a greedy play out of HeroMarine, there is not anything crazy going on. First observer getting popped on out, so this isn't a super quick rush up into the Colossus tech. There's still going to be the robotics bay, but the observer coming out is just going to buy some time, and you'll see a lot of pro players, or pro Protoss players, actually try and get out a good number of observers. Sometimes 4 or 5 is not uncommon, just in order to get good coverage around the map, see any drops that could be coming through, just having a good idea of any movement. Now this scout is money by HeroMarine. He sees the robotics bay, he knows that ShoWTimE is being obscenely greedy, and that he won't have much in the way of production in order to have afforded that robotics bay so ever so fast. Now, what can HeroMarine do about that? The trouble is this mothership core. The photon overcharge on the Nexus is incredibly strong early game in order to stop aggression and harassment coming on through. There's no medevac yet either, so HeroMarine can't really go for drops. He can't really do a sustained push into this. So regardless of whatever his plans may be, in the early game, it's not really going to be something he can punish. He can't get any kind of reliable, strong enough push that could beat out a photon overcharge on a Nexus and punish how greedy ShoWTimE is being yet. But if we start seeing a few additional starports, start seeing the Viking production begin early on, we could see a repeat of game number 1, where we had ShoWTimE really just getting in a strong spot, but then the composition of HeroMarine just being so much stronger and hitting at that critical moment before there was just too much on the ground to stop the Vikings. Production really ramping up pretty steadily at the moment. Stim is about 3 got us done. We've got obviously Marauder production coming on through. We've got a couple of additional tech labs also coming on those 2 recently completed barracks there. Nice little switch coming through. We should be seeing a good amount of medevac production. Probably only going to go up to 4, although actually the second starport is a really nice move. Okay, so I'm glad we're seeing this because HeroMarine has already identified that the Colossus is the key bit of tech and he needs to get out Vikings. But because of how early that Colossus was and the production is still ongoing, there wasn't even any medevacs. So he needs one starport to be producing medevacs. That is a fact. But he also needs to be producing Vikings, otherwise he's not going to be in a position where he can do much about that. So Vikings are coming out of the second starport. It is a lot of gas commitment and just overall production commitment. But with this third base coming down so early, because of how economically greedy HeroMarine has been, it's viable. It can be done. And he's trying to just monopolize on getting into that late game as quickly as possible, hoping that his macro is going to be able to outdo that of ShoWTimE. Quick little scan doesn't see much of the army, but the Colossi are going to get spotted. One Marine unfortunately dies in order to get that scout, but still gets a look. Sees the fact that there are those 2 Colossus there. They should have got a look at the upgrades. The 1-1 is done. So already HeroMarine is going to be aware that he's fractionally behind in terms of those upgrades. But again, that's not the end of the world. Still, little edge on forward here. HeroMarine currently only sitting with 1 Viking. That is not going to be much. Starting up quad Viking production 4 at a time, and that can quickly get you up a sizable Viking fleet. 3 production cycles, and he would easily be able to come and engage into these. He may even be able to anyway, because the ground support is minimal. 5 Stalkers, 2 Sentries, and 6 Zealots. HeroMarine, is he actually going to risk this? Extended Thermal Lance is done, so the Marauders don't outrange, or don't max range with the Colossi. But there are still 7 Marauders, but no, I think this is the better decision from HeroMarine. Just back away until he gets a few more Vikings. No sign of any follow-on tech from this. And importantly, the charge upgrade is not yet done from ShoWTimE. So without charge, the Zealots can't really close off the distance very well to that infantry. The blink would be useful to try and pick off the Vikings, but as we know, with 4 Vikings being produced at a time, it's already 8 out on the field with 3 more about to pop. Waiting to see if and when HeroMarine decides to go for this. Is he going to pull the boys? Yep, here we go again. Very similar timing, just a little bit sooner. Going to be waiting to see whether or not much else can be done here. Does ShoWTimE see? Yeah, okay, so ShoWTimE, with that observer, sees all of the Vikings moving forward. This is where the stress could really start coming on through. The Vikings instantly take down that mothership core. A couple of Stalkers blinking underneath. Want to engage against those Vikings, but it's just such a sketchy maneuver. The SCV wall is at the back of the infantry, not really where it's most helpful, but HeroMarine, he's going for this. Takes down 1, 2 of those Colossi. More going down. The infantry shredding things on the ground. The Colossus just not able to dish out enough damage in time. But the Vikings not focus firing very well. Now we'll pick off the remaining Colossus. And HeroMarine has slaughtered through this army once more. GG, and HeroMarine takes a 2-0 advantage over ShoWTimE in this best of 5 finals.